Welcome back to day one of Mountain West Media Day's afternoon session. Here straight from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada, Palm Resort and Casino. Got our afternoon session just about ready to get things kick started. Thanks for everyone for joining us. We just started the stream, so if you're roaming in here, totally get it. YouTube.com/@thesportsentiment. Appreciate everybody for tuning in on the YouTube side, on the Twitter side. Thank you so much for maybe you're just swiping or the algorithms pointed you this way and here you are. Look, we're jumping straight into it with a bunch of just Mountain West teams. We've got student athletes roaming around right now. We got North Dakota State probably in like 20 minutes. Mountain West newcomer, which will be pretty fun to chat. They're probably the most intriguing team out of everybody in this conference, quite honestly, just because it's new for them. It's new for everybody else around. Thrilled to see how that materializes for the North Dakota State Bison. We got the Air Force Falcons coming. They're roaming around. Hawaii's right next to us with UNLV radio. The defensive guys, Jemai Otis and Elijah Palmer, are chatting it up to my left. I've seen Michael Alejado, Hawaii quarterback. He's running around here as well. We got Hawaii, North Dakota State for sure. The Air Force guys are right down the 2 booths away from us. So we're getting things back underway here. And again, thanks again, everyone, for joining with live coverage out here at Mountain West Football Media Days. So if you missed the morning session, just a little housekeeping here on my end. If you missed the morning session, that is available on the YouTube. You can go back, you can re-listen to it. It's like 3 hours long. And it's literally like 3 hours long. There's no empty calories in there. We're talking about something. There's an interview here. We got a bunch of like spontaneous stuff happen. I mean, we had like the New Mexico SID stop in, and he knew everything, all the stats, facts, and figures. He told a good Lawrence fan story. I mean, that's as good as it gets. We had Niles Hall and Hattie Barghouti, San Jose State journalists, student journalists, who'll be covering SJSU football this year. So we just talked Spartan football, Mountain West football, good conversations there. And then we had our entire morning session between San Jose State and UNLV and New Mexico and UTEP, right? Like we've been doing it. So appreciate those guys for their time and answering my questions thoroughly into the best of their ability. So appreciate them, and of course, just always it's always good to just connect with people and learn about the players, because I think I've said this before, but like I think everybody just thinks like, hey, these guys are they're college football players, and they play on Saturdays, but these guys got a life outside of football as well, and they're individuals trying to make it with their own personal goals and trying to battle their whatever's going on in their life. How we doing? Shout out our guy Vic Aquino. Does good stuff with Mountain West Connection. Just saw him for the first time today. See, this is what I'm telling you. Like, you just run into people all the time.
How's it going? I'm Dave. Nice to meet you, Nick. You said you wanted two of our Air Force guys. They're going to be free probably about 2. Is that good for you? Okay. And you want Liam and Blake, right? Okay. Yep. I got them doing this one and that one more, and I'll bring them over here around 2:00. Are you guys live, or you're live? Okay. I'll bring them over about then. Okay. And Nick, you said, right? Okay. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. All right. Just ironing some things out behind the scenes with the Air Force Falcons. So we'll have Air Force around 2. North Dakota State probably in like 20 minutes. We got Hawaii on the radar around 1:30. So we're moving along here. But yeah, as I was rambling, these guys got, their own stuff going on behind the scenes that maybe not everybody knows about. And that's life for you. So, that is the way things go. And, that's why these guys may be football players, but, these guys are also college students as well. So always, always cool to just chat it up. I mean, this is like a media head's dream right here. I mean, literally, like, just talking to people, networking with people, and it's just one of these things that you got to put yourself out here. You got to be an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? You got to shake hands. You got to meet new people because could open up some doors. That's why I love coming out to these events because everyone out here is just trying to get their interviews and their coverage and represent whoever they're representing. And that's what makes it so fun because these are very fun experiences, and overall it's just a well put together event. So very thankful to be back out here. Second straight year, 2 years in a row I've been out here. We've done the basketball media days for 3 seasons. 2-3 seasons. Jeez, my mind's going blank. I need another cup of coffee. But that's the good stuff that we got going right now. Who knows? I might try to get some more media people on. I might have to get up and see if I spot somebody. Maybe I'll just yell across the room and see if I can make something happen here. But whatever. I'm not tremendously worried about that. Let's go ahead and kind of set the stage here for what we got coming up. Let's set the stage here a little bit because I'm assuming we're going to have Hawaii coming up. So let's talk about those Hawaii Rainbow Warriors because Hawaii was a very fun team. And we knew a year ago that Hawaii felt really good about themselves because we were at this event about a year ago and they were bringing the swagger. We had Pofele Ashlock on last year and he wasn't cocky at all, but he had a confidence to him that Hawaii team, was going to break through. They were going to do some things in 2025, and they sure did because they went 9-4 and 5-3 in the Mountain West. Their star freshman quarterback Micah Alejado won Freshman of the Year, and pretty easily. I don't think there was even like a real close runner up for that award. He won several Player of the Week awards, rightfully so, and overall, he just added just a terrific punch to a Hawaii offense that's already explosive. Was clutch in several spots. You go and look at the Week 0 game versus Stanford on the island. That was a marquee game on their schedule, and the fact that they got that win was noteworthy, and I think really kickstarted their season. And put him in good spirits right away, because I'm a firm believer in one of these things in the situation where if you're losing so many one-score games, your spirits are gonna take a toll. It's gonna take a hit because and a lot of it there's a luck factor, but I always I always say too, and coaches say it all the time. It takes skill to win close games and to close out games. So you need the clutch players. You need the gamers to make plays, and you got to go out execute the opponent when the lights are at their brightest. And Hawaii was one of those teams in some spots last year that really delivered in that area, and the Week 0 game most certainly stands out versus Stanford. there was some games on the road for them at Colorado State and at Air Force, games that the average Hawaii team wouldn't win, because we all know with Hawaii, they're at a disadvantage from a traveling perspective, just because they're on the island. Every road game, it's going to be north of 5-hour road trip. So when you go to the mountainous regions, I mean, we're talking 7-8 hour plane ride, just to get there. And then you throw the altitude aspect to it. You throw that the mountainous team, like a CSU, like an Air Force, those teams are playing at home, and it just the odds are stacked against you, and there's several layers to it, as we mentioned. So it kind of becomes a little hairy for a team like Hawaii to really get over the mountaintop, and I'm interested to see if they can replicate it this year. We're going to talk about their notable additions, their notable departures, and just kind of, their returning production, because they lose a lot. And it's not like they got smashed in the portal. This was kind of a team that was old. They had seniors. When Timmy Chang got there, he kind of, year one for Timmy Chang was, a complete overhaul, as you might imagine for anybody. But he took it over when Hawaii was at their absolute worst, and he took it over, and it took 3 years to rebuild. And credit the administration at Hawaii for being patient with him. Yes, he was one of their own. Yes, he was a quarterback for them, and so it kind of softens the blow there, where they can be a little bit more patient because he is one of their own. But the fact that the administration was not, rushing things and doing all of that stuff, you got to give him a lot of credit, because he proved that he was a good enough coach where if he had the right people in place, and he had the right quarterback, and with the right coordinators on the defensive side of the ball, they were going to make stuff happen. And that's exactly what happened last year for a 9-win season. They were in the hunt for a Mountain West championship pretty much till the very second to last week of the season. The stone crushing loss for them was the San Jose State loss on the road. Just because San Jose was kind of not like what everybody said they were going to be from preseason expectations. And then when you lose that game, it obviously, just put that Hawaii team from making the Mountain West championship. It just completely derailed their chances of making the championship game. But overall, what an incredible season. What a fun team too. They were very explosive through the air, as you might imagine. Alejado, like we mentioned, gave them a punch that they were lacking for a long while. Probably since they had like Cole McDonald at quarterback, right? And he was like throwing for all those yards and having tremendous statistical games and winning shootouts like 45-41. That's what Alejado brought to them last year. So give him a lot of credit. The fact that he was only a freshman too, for him having that, we've talked about his durability. And that's something we're going to ask him. Like, hey, how do you protect yourself out there? How are you going to be a little bit more cautious when you do scamper and take off and run, in spots? Because he was injured every single game last year. Week zero, he barely survived for Stanford. Week 1 at Arizona, he ended up not finishing the game, and then he was out for the Sam Houston State and Portland State games. I felt like there was situations last year in Mountain West play where, he was when he would hit a bomb to Jackson Harris, and then next thing you know, he's like limping and gingerly walking down the field, and he just didn't look right. He was completely disjointed. So we need a healthy Malika Alejado this year. He's got to protect himself if Hawaii wants to replicate what they had a year ago with 9 wins on the ledger. As far as their offense is concerned, we're going to see how this thing develops. They're obviously going to run their same stuff, run and shoot concepts, up-tempo, going to be very explosive through the air. They lose their go-ball guy in Jackson Harris, who is basically their one-on-one guy on the outside that had all their 50-yard touchdowns. He had like 3 touchdowns in the first half last year for San Diego State. He had about over 150 plus receiving yards in a game in San Jose a year ago. I mean, he just meant so much to that team, and because he was so fast and just a man beater on the outside, it opened up other pockets for guys like Pofele Ashlock, who is a professional at this level from a maturity standpoint, and just at the art of the wide receiver position. He's as good as it gets. So when you have a guy like Jackson Harris, that's just a complete magnet for defenses. It opens up windows for guys like Ashlock. Then you unlock the Alejado wheels. Then you have defenses on their heels all of a sudden. Then you have the run game with Barfield and Landon Sims, who they had a year ago. Landon Sims not back on the team this year. But you see where I'm going here. And that is that Hawaii had, because of Jackson Harris, had so many other layers to their offense because he was so good for them last year. So that's going to be a tough guy to replace. Jackson Harris went to LSU. And obviously we already know where LSU is on the totem pole as far as, college football and things like that. As we got Hawaii quarterback, I'm going to actually have you sit over here. Yeah. Perfect. We got right here. How we doing? Good. Nick.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. We actually talked last year. You were here last year, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You brought you were here with Pofele Ashlock.
Yes, sir.
So right on. Good to be with you again. We got Jemai Otis of Hawaii. We got Micah Alejado for Hawaii. You good, Micah?
I'm good.
Okay.
I move in?
Yeah. Move in if you don't mind. Hey, how about the year last year for you guys? I mean, we'll start with you because you came in here last year.
Yeah.
We were on Radio Row a year ago, and you walk in with Pofele, and you guys just got this swagger to you. Like you guys weren't cocky at all.
Yeah.
But like you guys walked in like, yeah, we feel good about our team this year. And that you obviously delivered in that area, with 9 wins for 2025. Just talk to me about the journey of last season, because it was a very memorable one for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I think it goes back to just the preparation that we put in prior to summers before that. But truly, our goal wasn't to get 9 wins. Obviously, we wanted to achieve, the Mountain West Championship. But, God blessed us with the winning season, and we're forever grateful for that. But, just understanding that, we expected way much more out of ourselves. But, I think God has did a lot for us. God has showed us the ups and downs for a reason. I think we started to realize that, and just, learning how to take a loss and learning how to take a win and learning how to grow from both of those. So that's what I think this team is, headed for. And, there's a lot more to come. Absolutely.
Everything happens for a reason. Micah, you were freshman of the year last year, rightfully so. I don't think there was much argument over that. Just talk to me about, I guess, your poise and your confidence for being such a youngster out there.
Yeah.
Just leading this team.
Yeah, my faith in God is really strong. So, I really say give him the glory for, the source of strength that, was able to provide me for last year. But, everybody around me made it so much easier the coaches, my teammates, the environment around me just allowed me to, play free, to play fast and, to play how I want to play. The poise comes from confidence and, the rest of my guys. And I knew everybody on our team would fulfill their 111th. And, that's what makes it so much easier to play as fast as you want, as free as you want on our team, because, you can trust the guy next to you. And that's the stuff that's built, from January to August. So just having that trust in my brothers is the biggest thing for me.
I'm from San Jose, so they run the spread and shred, very similar to the run and shoot that you guys run on the island. Just you being the signal caller in a scheme like that, how much fun is it to play in it? Just with the possibility of an explosive on any down and distance.
Yeah, I feel like a little kid in the candy store. Like, every play is an opportunity to go score a touchdown, right? You can have a short play called, but the audible might be a touchdown. That's the thing. I love the offense because, like you said, the explosiveness, the high scoring abilities and the capabilities of being able to just go put a touchdown on the board is so high. That's the best part that I love about it, is because when you have a great supporting cast like the receivers that we have, and the O-line to hold up and running backs to be there, and it makes a tough offense to stop.
How essential was a guy like Pofele Ashlock, who's been in?
Humongous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How I just, for a guy that's been there forever.
Yeah.
In your development and learning the offense so that you could just hit the ground running.
His presence is so humongous for us in so many different ways, and not just on the field but off the field as well. But on the field, he provides provides that leadership for that receiver room. Like you said, he's a veteran now, and he's the oldest in that group. So now guys are looking up to him, and he's helping guys on how he understood things, because he was an All-American as a redshirt freshman. So he's helping guys tell them what he saw as a freshman, how he transformed throughout the process. And he's a guy you can count on, right? You look at last year, he had some good games and had some games where he was hurt and wasn't really present. But then he comes back last game of the year against Cal, and he wins the MVP.
Yep.
That's the type of reliability that he has to him. And I know if I'm in trouble, I'm looking for 5, and he's gonna go make a play for me. Yeah.
Defensively for you guys, Dennis Thurman did a hell of a job
Yeah.
calling the defense. You guys were very senior heavy a year ago. I thought, I do coverage for San Jose State, but we do Mountain West, coverage as a whole, and just breakdowns and, talk about your guys' games. I thought you guys were probably the most underappreciated and underrated unit in the entire league last year. Just talk to me about, you anchoring that defense with a bunch of senior guys, and now you are kind of the oldest guy on that side of the ball now. So I guess what has to step up on your end for 2026?
For sure. I mean, just to give a shout out to that senior class. I mean, you had guys on the D line, Jackie, Tariq. The list goes on, from Peter, Nahe, you have Verdell, Jaheim, in the corner room, you had DK. So I mean, just guys like that, that defensive group honestly was a tough group. I think the way we practiced, the accountability we had, we were honestly player led, and I think that kind of led to our culture, who we were as a defense. Coach Thurm, he's a great coach, but the biggest thing that he does that helps us is he gives the defense to us. He gives us the play call, and he kind of puts it in our hands to run it how we want to run it. And I think truly, last year's defense took it and ran with it. And fast forward into this year, being an older guy, I think I'm just taking it upon myself just to put my teammates in the right position as possible. Big thing this year for us is just knowing where to be before the play happens. We got a lot of new guys, so us is just meshing well, learning how everybody plays, learning how to play for one another. But really the big thing for us right now is just X's and O's and getting to the spot faster than other people.
Who are some names we should be aware of, or I guess who's a guy that's really emerged for you guys that I guess the fans will really know about, because that secondary is going to be practically brand new, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, secondary, the list goes on. I mean, you got Conan Moore, you got Cody DeCambra. On the outsides, you got Sebo, Jalen Edmond, Jeremiah Hughes, and, a lot of speed, just a lot of speed in that group. Guys that, are fiery, let her go get the ball, see ball, get ball type of guys, just ball players, in that type of defense. So I'm excited. I'm grateful to have that type of speed behind me. I know when the ball's in the air, I know they're going to be right next to it. So it's a blessing.
Absolutely. Micah, for you, as you enter, I guess, your second year starting, at quarterback, have the coaches talked about, from hey, be smart out there from a durability standpoint, like, hey, you got to maybe protect yourself, or does that thought process go through you, or you're just gonna you got your skill sets and you're just gonna go play?
Obviously, being healthy is the biggest part, and I would say that I fared pretty well. I think without the ankle injury last year, I think I would have made it fine. But obviously that's a conversation, and being able to just, durability is big, and obviously college football you take a lot bigger and harder hits. So just trying to protect myself as much as I can. But at the end of the day, football is football. I'm gonna get hit, I'm gonna get tackled, but it's just trying to prevent those unnecessary collisions that I don't really need. So preserve my body as much as I can.
Of course. You shared the quarterback room last year with Luke Weaver.
Yeah.
He's at San Jose State now, fighting for the QB1 job out there in the Bay Area. Hawaii and San Jose State are going to play each other this
Yeah.
year. There's a situation that can happen where you're going up against you know, the guy
Yeah.
that you shared the room with.
Uh-huh.
If that situation materializes,
Yeah.
what is going to be that game like, you know, for you, with you being a youngster and him being kind of, you know,
Yeah.
the teacher in a
Well,
sense?
I will tell you, I'm gonna go send somebody to pull a fire alarm in his hotel room. But no, I love Luke. You know, hopefully he gets the nod to go start and go win some football games for them. But you know, being able to share the room with him last year, and you know, coming in from him being a national championship when he judo quarterback, and just learning who he is as a person and a football player as well. Got really close off the field, and you know, I wish him nothing but the success. He's just a really reliable guy. You know, like last year, when it was his turn to go play, you know, he made plays for us, and he went to go win the game for us against Cal.
Yep.
So you know, that's the kind of quarterback that San Jose has, is a reliable guy that's he's not scared to go play some football. He's gonna go put his head on the line and go win some football games for you guys. So you know, I'm hoping he gets the nod, and I think it'll be a fun game if he gets that.
Absolutely. Have you ever had any you know, encounters with Candy Amatololo? I know he's kind of a legend out there.
Yeah.
What's that been like?
He actually was
any?
he was my brother-in-law's head coach at Navy. So yeah, he's pretty cool, amazing guy, and just as a coach, he's great. I think he has a great program out there.
Absolutely. Who's a guy on offense? Because obviously you guys lose Jackson Harris. That's obviously a tough guy to replace. You guys still got Pofele, you know, still running his routes.
Yeah.
Who should we expect to really emerge here as some pieces here?
It's hard to pinpoint one guy because, you know, offense involves so many guys. I want to point out, I guess, our transfer receivers, our transfer running back Devon Rice, and our slots behind Pofele, because I think our slots are going to be our best group this year because, you know, Pofele has been anchoring. It was Pofele and Nick Senecal last year, the older group of guys, but now Nick Senecal's gone. So that spot is open, and, you know, we have guys who are just ready to go ball. You know, gritty, tough guys, you know, Hawaii-born, Hawaii-raised guys that are, you know, they can play. We got like 2 Gatorade Player of the Years in that room. So they're excited to go show what they can do, and, you know, I'm excited for them because, you know, I know how hard they worked and how hard they've worked for their opportunities. So, you know, when it happens this year, I'll be ready for them.
I always say you guys are always in a tough spot because of the travel. And the Mountain West is still not doing any favors for you because you guys got a game all the way in Northern Illinois this year.
I know.
I guess you know, just another layer to the madness there. Do you like traveling to like a lot of these places, or how do you entertain yourself for, I guess, these long flights? Because you know it's going to be 5 hours at the very least everywhere you go.
Luckily, you know, on the long flights, you know, we usually leave right after practice. That's like 6 a.m. So you're kind of already tired.
Fair enough.
So, you know, you kind of get halfway through, and then you can go finish a Netflix series or whatever it is that you want to go finish. But yeah, it's fun to travel, experience new places, and playing in different college football stadiums and different environments is always a fun time and, you know, once in a lifetime opportunity. So, and I don't see the travel as a big deficit for us. I think it's more as a opportunity to go enjoy college football, but at the same time, we'll make a statement on the road.
Absolutely. One more for you guys on the way out. Timmy Chang. I mean, that guy's awesome. He had a breakthrough year last year. Just how happy are you for him that, you know, he was able to do that with that group last year, and, you know, just how is he able to, you know, motivate you guys to a level where, you know, you guys are willing to go to war with him every week?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Timmy, man, he's a great coach. I mean, it's a blessing just to play for him. Truly, you know, as a coach, you know, he's been through a lot, you know, having to come to a team, you know, truly in a sense from scratch, you know, the other coach leaving, other players heading out, Coach Timmy coming in, you know, having to recruit that class and lay the foundation down. And I think it just shows his faith. You know, he's a man of God also, you know, and he stayed faithful through the process, you know, through those 5 and 7 years, he was the same person. And, you know, now we're 9-4, you know, I would say he's even more, you know, humble, and, you know, he's focused on, you know, our day-to-day and how to execute, how to be better. So I think, you know, truly Coach Timmy as a coach, you know what I mean, his faith never wavered, and I think it showed, you know, through this successful year that we had.
Right on, guys. Well, San Jose State and Hawaii, they got a trip to the island, I believe, on the early stages of October.
Yeah.
We'll most certainly be monitoring that
Yes,
along
sir.
with all your success here in 2026. Best of luck. Stay healthy, guys, and we'll be chatting soon.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you. There you have it. Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, Jemai Otis and Micah Alejado. Appreciate them for taking some time, for us. Talking all things, Hawaii football. Man, hell of a year for them last year. We were already talking about, their 2025. Good to see that Micah's healthy. That's a guy that Hawaii absolutely needs. And the fact that they lose Luke Weaver, I haven't really dived into their backup quarterback situation, but I imagine I don't know what that looks like, but you want Micah Alejado healthy for all of 2026. And he said, like, hey, we got those are something I'm not gonna stop being myself with the skill sets that I have as a quarterback, but I'm not gonna take unnecessary hits, which I thought that was a good thing that he said. Because they need him for the entirety of 2026 if Hawaii wants to be a threat in this league once again. We talked about their defense with Jemai Otis. That defense is very intriguing. They lose, their guys. They lose their defensive line coach Jeff Reinbold to the CFL. He's on the Ottawa Red Blacks for special teams, just doing something like that. He's in the CFL now. He's not with the team. Hawaii was the number one sacking unit in the Mountain West, and I don't think anybody, realized that from the standpoint of like, hey, this was a legitimate strength for Hawaii last year, and now they don't have the position coach that made them very successful in that area. Plus, they don't have really just the talent that they had a year ago. Like we mentioned to Jemai, 3 of their top 4 corners are gone, along with both safeties. So a lot of youngsters. He kind of rattled just a bunch of those guys off. Some guys that I wrote down, I did ask Micah about, and we should have. Audric Harris. Should have asked about him because he was a high school teammate of his at Bishop Gorman. He's a transfer from the Washington Huskies. That would probably be my guy. That between him, Audric Harris, Pofele Ashlock, and the other guy that I wrote down too is returning. That's going to emerge is Tama Uyalada. I would say those 3 guys for Hawaii will be your front line wide receivers 1, 2, and 3. And that's the beauty of that offense. It could be any of those guys on any given week that really sparks up. But that's going to be really good. And I think people are going to go look at the fact that Jackson Harris is gone. Yes, we talked about his impact a ton. But, they're very similar to San Jose State, this team. Like, you might just not have to worry about like wide receiver recruits, because Micah's a really talented quarterback where people are going to want to play with him. He's going to, as long as he's there at Hawaii, he's going to be attraction for teams in the portal, or for players in the portal, as long as he's there. And that is most certainly a green flag if you're a wide receiver recruit. And if you're just a Hawaii fan in general, it's a very good selling point. The scheme obviously helps, to draw those types of players. But yeah, Audric Harris and Tama Uyalada are guys to keep an eye on, beyond Pofele Ashlock, who everybody knows about already. At the running back position, they got Cam Barfield. Cam Barfield's around here somewhere. He's going to be their RB1 for Hawaii this year. He's been on the team since he got since coming out of high school. He's kind of been there when Hawaii was at their worst, and he's been there when things have been sunshine and rainbows. So he's obviously a guy that we have to circle to be a notable impact piece. The guy that is going to replace Landon Sims most likely is Devon Rice, transfer from Kansas State. He initially committed to Hawaii like a couple years ago, and then he went to Kansas State. Obviously, the K-State thing didn't work out, and now he's over here because K-State had a mobile quarterback in Avery Johnson, and they had like Joe Jackson and Dylan Edwards. So he was deep in the depth chart there, and now he's going to come over here and essentially be the Cam Barfield backup. Some other guys I have written down. Jemai Otis talked about Cody DeCambra. DeCambra is a corner from UNLV. So that is going to be a big time tilt for a guy like that going up against his former team very early in the season. We should mention as well. I think that's like a week 3 kickoff. I'm pretty sure. Like, it's kind of an interesting scheduling spot. Hawaii's schedule is like very wonky this year. Like, they got they're not playing their non-conference games all in a row, like how like the average college football team would. They're playing at Stanford week 0. They got like Arizona State sandwiched in like week 5, and then they got like another non-conference game. I'm blanking on who it is right now. And that's like on the back end of the season. Sac State, that's who it is. It's the last game of the year. So it's like, okay, what is this? So what does that ultimately mean when you have a wonky non-conference like that? You get yourself a big-time Mountain West game early in the season when you might still be trying to evaluate your team, which it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Depends on who you're talking to, and where your team is at. So that is obviously significant for UNLV and Hawaii, because that's going to be a deciding factor for the standings. You already know that. I personally have Hawaii kind of on my middle tier of the standings right now. Like, there's some really talented teams in the league. Probably right where they finished last year is probably where everybody's going to have them. And, you can argue they could be higher, or, they're properly rated. But that is that's where I kind of have them right now. Right on like 5th of the Mountain West, right towards the middle, which is fine. I think that's respectable. They got tons of guys that are replacing on defense, and I want to see what that looks like. San Jose State's playing at Hawaii. That's obviously a big-time game for both programs. Lots of points in that game. Last year's game was just bonkers. I think it was like 45, 37, or 38, something like that. It was nuts. The game produced like over 1,000 yards of offense. Jackson Harrison, Pofele, Ashlock had like 100 yards themselves. San Jose State receivers absolutely tore it up. As we got the Air Force Falcons coming in here now. Right over here, guys. How we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Nick, nice to meet you.
Liam, nice to meet you.
Blake. Nice to meet you. All right, guys, we got the Air Force Falcons here. Mike's hot, and we're ready to go. Big year for you last year. Just talk to me about the level of your success and how that whole thing materialized for you, because you didn't start out the year as QB1. You kind of really, earned the trust of, your coaches and teammates to ultimately, make an impact and put on a really good 2025 campaign.
For sure. Like you said, it was about earning the trust of the guys around me. And I think that's what I can attribute most of the success to, was having, those guys around me to push me, but also to support me when I needed it most. And so I knew that if I could play with power, play with speed, and just be confident and go out there and have fun, that I can have some success. And the people around me made it easier, whether it was throwing the ball to Cade Harris and he was able to run after the catch, or throwing it to Bruin in the end zone, or whether it was pitching out to Cade Frew. These guys made me look good, and they were able to open up the defense to where I could attack the ball or attack downfield with behind my pads and have some success. So I think it was a full offensive team effort, and it started with building their trust, and that was way before the season started, and it just happened to unfold that way.
Absolutely. We're here with Air Force quarterback Liam Zarka and Air Force linebacker Blake Fletcher. Blake, I want to, pivot towards your side of the ball on the defensive side. I kind of see you as you just kind of being the leader of this defense, kind of getting everybody together. Last year was was a defense that had a lot of underclassmen that kind of got their feet wet,
Yep.
On that defense. How did these guys look after another year in the pipeline, and just overall for you, kind of how are you kind of taking a step on a leadership role yourself?
Yeah, I mean these guys are looking great. To be completely honest, last year these guys were coming straight out of basic. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that these guys were straight out of basic, kind of thrown into the fire. Not really. They didn't have time to learn the playbook or kind of get a feel for the game. So now that they've got a whole season under their belt, they had a great spring ball. They're flying around. They're feeling more comfortable at their position and just more fluid in what they're doing. The communication has been a lot better. I mean, communication is such a big aspect of defense, right? You got to be able to communicate from the back end to the linebackers to the D-line. It's got to be one-way communication the whole way. So just being able to have that and speak the same language this year has been so good, and I'm excited to see what we do this year.
So those youngsters, at your position and behind you, they're going to be a year older. But now we replaced the entire D line essentially, from last year.
Yep.
Who are the guys that have really impressed you, in particular on the D line, that are going to be impact pieces here this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Isaac Hubert. He's had a phenomenal year last year, and he's going to continue to produce and do the same things that he did last year this year and improve in that aspect. But then we've also got Jalen Reese, who had some big impact plays for us last year. I know he had an interception against San Jose State last year, coming off the D-line. So, and also you got Lukia Rawls and Andrew Tillett, man in the middle this year, who have both been putting in the work to get bigger and stronger, and I'm excited to see what they do as well.
Absolutely. Man, I thought you guys, the record's going to say what the record is. But I thought you guys just kind of were kind of on the wrong side of, some one-score games.
Sure.
I guess just talk to me just based on the fact that, you guys were disappointed in 2025, just the amount of hunger that you're coming out here for the upcoming season to really avenge a lot of those one-score losses.
Yeah, no, this team is hungry. We know that last year our record didn't show the kind of team that we really were. We lost a lot of close matchups, and we just weren't able to put full games together. And I think a lot of that had to just do with having younger guys and inexperienced guys just not being able to close games. But this year we're coming back with a lot more experience and a lot more hunger and getting ready to prove to everyone that we're a lot better than what the past two seasons have shown.
Absolutely. Liam, you're – man, I was saying last year when, you guys would kind of be down 2 possessions and be like, yeah, they got Liam Zarka. Like, this guy – it doesn't matter. He could have an explosive on the ground for 80 yards or, like you said, you could throw it to Cade Harris for 80 yards. Just talk about – because people think about the triple option like they're going to, run the ball 50 times a game. But, man, when you're out there, you got like an extra dimension that maybe Air Force hasn't had, with past teams. Talk about that and, just your dynamic abilities, leading this team.
Yeah, for sure. Running the triple option, it's a battle at the front lines. And so that means you need all your own linemen on point and doing their assigned job, but also the rest of us, whether it's blocking, running through the lanes and stuff like that. We're gonna pound the ball obviously as a triple option, and that's gonna mean the defense needs to step up and fill the box. And when they do, we have that ability to attack behind him and throw that long pass and take a shot. But also, I think we were able to kind of develop the offense a little bit, and maybe we moved a little bit back to the gun, and we're able to run some gun stuff, the gun option, and able to open up the offense and run downhill with more speed. And so I think that comes with just having guys that are able to do that. And whether it was me, whether I was the slot receivers, or whether it was having a outside receiver that could, with some speed, that was able to attack the defense and get past them. And so I think having an offense like that, where we're able to pound the rock, but also open it up when we need to, And I think you saw last year we were able to score and in whether it was a few play drives or whether it was 30 play drives. And so I think that was something special, and trying to kind of copy that success we had last year and move on to that and have that this year as well.
You referenced the San Jose State game where, you guys, that defense kind of really took some steps. What is it about San Jose? Because, Troy Calhoun, your coach, and Kenny Amazzololo have tremendous history. They've been in this game forever. What is it about playing San Jose? Very different team in the Mountain West, very much an air raid type team that presents so many challenges when you're preparing for them.
Yeah, you just gotta know that they're gonna throw the ball a lot throughout the game. It's almost, some teams run first and pass second. They're more of a pass first, only run if they have to kind of offense. At least they have been in the past. So we knew going into last year's game that we were going to see the ball in the air a lot. We cut up the front a little bit, and we're able to get some more pressure on the quarterback than we had in previous games. I know Peyton Zdroik had something like 11 pressures on the quarterback, which really helped us out in the back half. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, is just going into that game knowing that it's going to be a different style than when you play a Wyoming or an Army or a Navy. It's a whole different ball game, but we're prepared and we're ready, and our coaches do a very good job at prepping us to be ready for that style of offense and come on and play that.
Absolutely. We mentioned Cade Harris and Bruin a little bit earlier. Those guys move on. Who are the guys? Obviously, Owen Allen's a star. In your backfield. You talked about how the offense has really developed within the gun. Who are going to be these playmakers through the air that are going to be making plays this year?
For sure, it was especially fun playing with those seniors last year, but they also had the ability to kind of imprint some of the same talents and the same kind of style they had into the younger guys. And so I think stepping forward, I think we have Simon Kibbe and Griff to come in and kind of fill that tight end position, whether it's blocking, whether it's getting open, finding open lanes, and just being able to kind of find the zone that I need them to be in. And so I think looking forward to them in the tight end position, and then also filling the Cade Harris role, which is going to be super important, which is going to be Matt Long and Owen Chambers and Mason Hayes. And so I think they're an athletic bunch that can attack the defense vertically, but also they're shifty and they're going to find those open lanes as well. And so I'm really excited, and I know that they're really hungry to attack the defense and start getting some yards and some stats under their belt. And so I'm excited to looking forward to this, playing with them.
Air Force is like a Mountain West OG. They've been in the league since its existence. Now you got all these newcomers coming in. I look at a game like with North Dakota State where, get ready, because that game's going to be very physical. That game's very early on in the season, like week 2 for you guys. Obviously a pivotal conference game so early. Do you guys like that? And how do you that type of game early on in the season? And what do you just make of just the new landscape of the conference this year?
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to kind of see some of these new faces in the conference this year. I think it's going to open up a lot more kind of different style of games. Like you said, we're going to play North Dakota State, and that's going to be a physical game for sure, but also playing NIU and UTEP. I think it's going to be something special and something that I'm looking forward to, having these new faces and being able to challenge ourselves as a team, but also being able to challenge them as they come into the Mountain West. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited that we opened up that our first game of conference is NDSU. I think it gives us a shot to just kind of show everyone that we're not playing around this year. It's a good statement game for us. So I'm excited to get out there. It should be an all-out war. But yeah, I'm excited to have that opportunity to play them.
Coach Calhoun's been at Air Force for 20 plus seasons. Why is the 2026 Air Force Falcon team primed for a Mountain West championship run? Because this team has never won a league title before. Why could this year be the year?
Kind of just what I talked about earlier. We're hungry, right? We're hungry to go prove everyone wrong and show them that the past 2 seasons weren't really us. And also, like, each and every week, we're going to attack at 1-0. As much as we have that Mountain West championship in sight, and that's a goal for us, at the end of the day, like it's go 1-0 each and every week and win that game and move on to the next and just take it one game at a time, 1 week at a time, one opponent at a time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I think this year is going to be special because we have leaders on both sides of the ball that know what our goal is. And so on offense, we have success last year, and I think we're going to copy that same success. And we have the leaders there to do it and to implement what we did last year and continue to build off that. But then we also have leaders like Blake on defense that are able to communicate well and are able to kind of share the same goal on defense, which is get a turnover, get a stop. And so having leaders on both sides of the ball that are experienced and are returning is going to be so essential for us to win a Mountain West championship.
Awesome stuff, guys. Appreciate the time. Best of luck in 2026. And stay healthy out there.
Perfect. Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it. There you have it. Air Force Falcons, Liam Zarka and Blake Fletcher. Appreciate their time. Stepping up and in with our live coverage here from day one of Mountain West football media days. Air Force, they talked about it. They're hungry. They're very hungry this year. They believe last year was just the last 2 years, matter of fact, just complete outlier. And usually you never see Troy Calhoun have back-to-back bad seasons. It just you go look back and it just never happens, right? So I'm a firm believer that they're gonna bounce back. I just don't see a situation for this team the way the schedule lines up and just how many one-score losses that they had last year and the dynamic abilities of Liam Zarka at quarterback that they're gonna be able to, all of a sudden just not make things happen, and they're gonna be on the right side of some one-score games this year. They talked about it that they like the fact that the North Dakota State's week 2. Blake Fletcher mentioned that. That's obviously a gigantic Mountain West tilt. That's going to have impact on the standings from when the game's played until the end of the year. So that's obviously significant. And the fact that this Air Force team is going to have that defense with another year. They went through the growing pains last year, and that was totally fine. And they were able to do some things on that side of the ball where it didn't materialize early for them, but as the season progressed, I think that turning point was the San Jose State game last year where they really won the game with their defense. And when you have a turning point like that, I always look for teams like, have they quit on their team? Air Force that team never quit last year. And, that's some positive signs for 2026. That defense got better. Obviously, the offense was popping. So if they could put it together consistently, both units at the same time, they're gonna be nuts. And Zarka talked about some of the stuff that they've changed because he's at quarterback and he's got the abilities, to really much just be in shotgun instead of this under center look. Keeps their defenses on their heels and much more. And they have the ability to tune it all the way up, or they could kick it in to first gear and really drag the game into the mud. So the fact that they have more than one style at their disposal is very important, because there was some times where they would score ridiculously quick, not because they had to, but just because hey, the explosive's open and Zarka can make the throw and it's a 75-yard touchdown. The defense is back out there again. And, sometimes that's not always the greatest thing, because those vintage Air Force teams, when you'd go look back at them, or all the successful Air Force teams, they would be number one in time of possession. They would have a top 5 defense because the defense would hardly be on the field, and their success rate on offense would be off the charts. Where they would have the 12-minute scoring drive resulting in a touchdown and just really truncate the game. And I'm interested to see if they could kind of put it all together. My thought process is that I think they will. Um, some guys on the defensive side of the ball that were kind of just thrown into the fire. Um, Max Mustel, safety. Roger Jones, safety. Alexander Perez played in the secondary. Those three guys in particular are dudes that were just kind of like, hey, go figure it out. Go figure it out. Learn through it because you guys are freshmen and, these are our best freshmen playing right now. It was just one of those transition years for the Air Force team on defense where they just kind of lost everybody 2 years ago all at once. And they had, in the secondary in particular, because they obviously had the senior heavy defensive line. And, I've talked about the fact that they lose like Zedroik and Schwartz and Grobe on the D line. But they still got guys that back them up that saw time last year and are going to be emerging as upperclassmen. So maybe I was more worried about it a few months ago. But as we get closer to week one, do I think that unit's going to be like as good as they were, maybe a year or two ago? Probably not. But they're still going to be very legit. And I don't think they're going to be like a liability. So that's where I'm at with that. And, we've talked about their offense. Zarka's just going to make plays for them. Honestly, he's in the running for like Mountain West Player of the Year. That guy's one of the more like special quarterbacks that Air Force has had, and they've had a lot of good ones. But the fact that he's just able to open things up in more than one layer, I think will really come into fruition for a successful season for the Air Force Falcons. And it's just hard to believe, given the history and how many winning seasons that they've had under Troy Calhoun, that they're just gonna, all of a sudden, like the fact that they just haven't won a Mountain West championship yet. That's just kind of hard to believe. So, look, I think this Air Force team's going to be in the hunt for a Mountain West championship all throughout the season. We're going to see, how that North Dakota State game goes in week 2. They got San Jose State coming to Air Force. Air Force goes to New Mexico. So, there's some high-profile games on this schedule. I think against teams like UTEP and Northern Illinois, man, that's going to be such an adjustment for them, for those teams to really game plan for that, because there's no triple option teams in the MAC or the CUSA. And you see, like, a prime example is when you see teams like Army or Navy and like Air Force as well. But when they play their non-conference schedule, and you just see like those teams just absolutely drill their opponent, and they play good teams too. It's not like they're just cakewalking through FCSs. No, like they actually legitimately play good teams, and they take them to church because those teams just don't game plan. Or you could look at that triple option on tape, but until you really deal with it, because it's a different animal. Because when you get that fullback dive going, it opens everything up. If you can't stop the dive, you're screwed. But if you could stop the dive, then you could kind of keep the defense. The defense could kind of adjust a little bit, and it's just not as big as a threat. But the problem is, there's not many teams that can stop the dive at a high level. Even like some of the top defenses out there. So it's gonna be tough to stop. Between the dive and then Zarka running on the hashes, and then pitch on the pitch outside to a guy like Owen Allen. That's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough for some opposing defenses, and that's why Just a lot of those teams in the Mountain West, like a UTEP, like an NIU, maybe to a North Dakota State to a certain extent, can be in some deep water when they match up with the Air Force Falcons. But I can't wait to see what they look like. They kind of reminded me of, I don't want to say like of Hawaii last year, but from when we saw them at media days, because these guys are very even keeled. They're not going to show a lot of emotion. Hawaii last year came into this place like, oh yeah, we're ready. Let's get the season going. We feel great about our team. The Air Force has got this. They're calm, cool, and collective about their team. They're pissed off about the last 2 years, and I think that ultimately is going to translate on the field with this team. So, I'm intrigued to see what that team looks like, as a whole, and where it goes from there. Some scheduling notes that I have for Air Force. I've mentioned this before. The big one that I have written down is that Air Force only has one bye week, and it comes in week 2. Week 2 bye week. That is, what the heck is that? I don't think anybody has a bye that early. So that is something certainly to circle. Because when you get to that, and I've talked about this, Air Force in week 1 plays the Duquesne Dukes. They're going to win that game. Duquesne's going to be grossly overwhelmed, that FCS roster. Then you get the bye week, and North Dakota State's going to go look at that tape, and they're going to be like, what the heck is this? They're not going to Troy Calhoun's been in this game long enough where he's not going to show his entire hand and reveal all of his cards in the Duquesne Dukes game in week 1. And the fact that he's going to get one extra week to prepare for North Dakota State, I think, is advantageous for the Air Force Falcons. So that is most certainly a spot on not only the fact that it's a high leverage game, but the fact that you get an extra week to prepare because you have the outside the ordinary week 2 bye is pretty interesting. And again, just to run over the numbers on this team, once again, one thing I failed to mention real quick, new defensive coordinator for this team this year. They're bringing over Steve Russ, who's taken over for Brian Knorr. Brian Knorr went to Michigan, longtime defensive coordinator, departing for the Michigan Wolverines defensive job with Kyle Whittingham. So they bring back one of their own who has been a defensive coordinator before, and Steve Russ. Steve Russ was on this Air Force staff from 2012 to 2017, was the DC, was the defensive backfield coach. You get the gist. He's been coaching defense his entire career. And the fact that he's been there and he's back for a second stint is a green flag. Was the defensive coordinator last year at UAB, and that team was an absolute mess last year. With the UAB Blazers were one of the worst defenses in all of America. Quite honestly, like Alabama State in week 1 hung like 500 yards on them. It was all bad, but that was a really below average roster, and they weren't well coached under Trent Dilfer. So I think this is a perfect spot to come back. This is going to be a defense that he understands, and they're going to the fact that he's been there before, he knows the standard, he's worked with Troy Calhoun. There is just a lot of pieces to the puzzle here that fit, and I really like that because Air Force defense last year, 109th in scoring D, 128th against the pass, 83rd in rushing, and 108th in total. That's not Air Force football. I expect those numbers to drastically improve, especially against the pass. That's what killed them last year. And that's what we talked about at the back end of the season. It kept improving and improving. San Jose State's offense couldn't do a single thing against them last year in San Jose. San Jose State didn't scratch 20 points in that game. So the fact that they were 128th out of like 136 in pass defense is just incredible. You never see that from Troy Calhoun teams. We talked about Owen Allen. He'll be back. This offensive line is going to be damn good. Luke Vonderhaar, who's here at Media Days representing Air Force. He's going to be one of the primary guys that's going to be opening up a lot of these lanes on the ground. Right tackle for the Falcons this year. So I'm intrigued as anyone to see how it goes. I think they got a lot of favorable situations on their schedule. Obviously, the Air Force San Jose State game is always a good one to circle because San Jose State with Kenia Matalolo and Troy Calhoun at Air Force, they go back a long time because of Nia Matalolo's coaching career at Navy. These guys were playing on an annual basis. And head-to-head against each other, they are 9-9. Since Kenia Montalolo has been in San Jose, they are 1-1 against each other. San Jose scored an upset 2 years ago in Colorado Springs. That was not with Liam Zarka at quarterback. I'm trying to think who they had at quarterback 2 years ago. The name will come to me. But it was not working. It was very jerky. They ended up playing 4 guys that year. And they're like, okay, we got to – Calhoun had to figure out, like, we got to figure out this quarterback thing from 2 years ago. And that was a large part of why they had a down year because they weren't able to come back in games. Once when they were down 10 points in some of their games and they weren't able to control the tempo of it, they were screwed. That's obviously not the case with Liam Zarka anymore. If Air Force is in a 14-point deficit, I have a lot of confidence that they can come back from it because they have Zarka at quarterback. But yes, 2 years ago, Air Force and San Jose State played in Colorado Springs. That was year 1 of the Coach Ken era. I remember the game, pretty well. San Jose State hit a lot of explosives through the air with Craig Stutzman scheme. That was a week 2 game, which might have thrown kind of Air Force a little bit. Maybe they were off kiltered a little bit because of that. There was only one game of tape to really look at, and that was a week 1 win for San Jose State versus Sac State. So there were some concepts that they put. There was probably some concepts, with that. So that made for an interesting upset win for SJSU, and obviously the game last year. What was it? 26-16, I believe it was, something like that. So that is the way things were going with that. And we mentioned that game a ton of numerous times. San Jose State turned over the ball a jillion times in that one, just like how they did in a lot of their games a year ago. But yeah. Fun team. Can't wait to see what they look like. And San Jose State versus Air Force always provides good battles. It'll be a good one in Colorado Springs. Air Force will be favored in the game. We'll see where San Jose State is in that spot. It's going to be a really tough game for them, but it's most certainly a winnable game for them. But like we talked about, run defense with San Jose State gonna have to be right. Otherwise, Owen Allen might have 250 yards himself on the ground. So that's where we stand with that. Should be a fun one whenever that one ultimately comes around. So as far as what we got coming up, we got North Dakota State now on Radio Row. So let's start talking about the Bison. North Dakota State. One of the most intriguing teams in the country, if you ask me. There's obviously, I'm not even like speaking about this like just for like Mountain West fans. I think just the entire college football world can't wait to see what this team does this year, because it's a unique situation. They were just this absolute powerhouse at the FCS level, and they were basically like in the championship game essentially every single year. What do they have? Like 10 of the last 15 FCS championships? Yeah, that's ridiculous. Between 2011 and 2024, program has won 10 FCS championships. So that tells you all you need to know. They were just steamrolling competition at a subdivision lower. And I think, quite honestly, they were ready for the move. I think that's fair to say. So the fact that, they're making the jump up, there's a lot of people excited about the move, myself included. I thought it was a perfect fit for the Mountain West. This thing kind of really materialized pretty quick, and fairly recently, to the point where we already had the entire college football schedules out, and we had to, because of the addition of NDSU, we had to just crumble it up and start from square one with all the schedule again. So that certainly was a curveball that I don't think a lot of us saw coming, but I think overall it was a great move. And I think if you were to talk to, a lot of the people amongst the league, media, and, just the Mountain West brass, they would probably say it was well worth it. Just because of their history, and not only that, but how they fit the geographical footprint that the Mountain West is as a conference. So it's a 100% great addition, and the fact that they come through there, from the Missouri Valley Football Conference to the Mountain West, I think will be beneficial to several parties. So let's talk about what they did last year, what happened last year, and overall, I guess maybe just some history of the program if you're not aware of it. Because this was a team last year that went 12-0 in the regular season at the FCS level. They made it to the playoffs. They had home field advantage in the FCS playoffs all throughout, and they lost to Illinois State 29-28. It was one of the more bizarre games the entire, college football season. You could throw in FBS and FCS games. I've talked to people that are, diehard FCS fans and follow it at a high level, and they say it was absolutely ridiculous how North Dakota State lost the game. Because Illinois State had like 4 turnovers in the game and won by a point, and it's because they ripped 15 points in like a minute. So in the fourth quarter, we should add. So it was crazy. Like the game came right down to the wire. Illinois State had the opportunity to kick an extra point to tie and go to overtime, but they rolled the dice and went for 2 and converted, and essentially knocked out NDSU that way in the playoff last year. But a 12-0 regular season, they just absolutely steamrolled the competition a year ago. And as they've gone through several coaches over the past decade plus. And honestly, at that FCS level, North Dakota State was just kind of coaching proof. Didn't matter who you kind of rolled in there. Like if you had if yourself a football mind, you were going to recruit all these guys in the mountainous regions, and find a way to dominate with your style of play. This is a team that has tons of. It's an offensive scheme that is very run heavy. A lot of creative, I would say, concept plays. That they're running in their playbook. They have a mobile quarterback. If you're not a mobile quarterback in the North Dakota State quarterback room, you're not going to see time. That's just the way they run their operation. So that is one of those ordeals that they like the mobile quarterback, and they've been very successful with it. We could go down the list between Trey Lance and Cam Miller, and the guy that they had last year, Cole Payton. The list goes on. They've always had themselves a mobile quarterback that has the arm strength to make plays. So that is obviously something that they recruit, and they're able to bring a lot of those guys in. The Bison they always play, when they were in the FCS level, they would always play at least one FBS team. And a lot of times they'd be favored in the game, depending on who they played. As of late, they've been playing a lot of, over the past couple of years, they were playing a lot of like Power 4 teams, and they would give them a run for their money. Like last year with the Colorado Buffaloes, they literally almost had Deion Sanders' crew last year. They were trailing in the game for the most part. Colorado was kind of always controlling the game, but man, were they close and threatening for an outright win out there in Boulder, Colorado. Overall, this program in the last 14 tries that they've played FBS opponents, they're 9-5. They have a winning record versus the FBS. Now the $1 million question is, you'll be playing FBS opponents every single week. Is that going to translate to consistency? Because let's just be honest, this was a program that was able to out-recruit and outspend a lot of their competition. And in that Missouri Valley Conference, they would play teams like South Dakota that were well respectable. You'd see them in the FCS playoffs every year. But then there would be some times like, they would play, some teams in the Missouri Valley, and it's like, okay, they're a gigantic favorite. The talent gap is just ridiculous. So there is that when you kind of throw everything into the madness there. They were just on another level from a talent standpoint than a lot of their teams in their conference. So yeah, 9-5 versus FBS opponents. I think that speaks kind of a lot on their team, and just how much they're ready to punch up at a division higher. Let's talk about their head coach, Tim Polasek. He is entering year number 2 or 3. Year 3. Yes. He is he's entering year 3. He won a national championship in year 1 as a head coach. This has kind of always been, like I said, coaching proof type of job. They had Matt Entz prior. Matt Entz is now the current Fresno State head coach. And he kind of, took his philosophy that he ran at North Dakota State to Fresno State, and Fresno had a good year last year. And people believe they are going to be respectable in the new Pac-12. So with Tim Polasek, they are still kind of playing the same style, and they're still playing an angry brand of football, if you will, out there in Fargo, North Dakota. How about this, guys? Tim Polasek, so he won the FCS championship in 2024. This guy is 26-3. 26-3. His overall record is in 2 seasons as the Bison head coach. You're probably wondering, what the heck were his 3 losses? At Colorado, the game that we mentioned. At South Dakota, another opponent that we mentioned that's pretty respectable in the FCS level. At Illinois State in the FCS playoffs last year. And that game, that was a 1-point loss in their own building. It was just an obscure result. I kind of already walked you through the entire game and how it all unfolded in the final minutes there. So that's my point. There is a 26-3 record where they've lost by a combined 7 points in 3 games. Just incredible stuff. So I'm very intrigued. I think they're ready for the FBS job. I think they got the talent to win immediately. 150%. They got the guys to win at the Mountain West. I'm interested. I mentioned this on a previous podcast about a month ago now. What does this team look like on the road? Because I think they're going to be probably undefeated at home. Fargo Dome is an incredibly tough place to play. and they get a lot of the the lower teams that we think in the conference this year coming to them. I think if you would play the game on a neutral site for all the teams that they draw at home would be in tough. But then you kind of throw in the home field factor at Fargo, and that fan base is going to be more hungry and more happy than ever, and that they feel like they could belong in year one at the FBS level. So, that's certainly something from a fan standpoint with that team and roster heading into 2026 football season. As far as what we got here and what they're gonna do, we said they're gonna be very physical on offense. Very physical on offense. They're gonna run a Tampa 2 defense for the most part, and they're always gonna have really good running backs. They're gonna have depth at the position. They're going to have a really well solidified offensive line that's got experience, and they're going to back it up with a lot of explosive plays on the ground. The Bison offense is commanded by Dan Larson at offensive coordinators. He calls plays for the Bison with the help of Tim Polasek, of course. So there's that's a tandem that everybody is going to know about. Nathan Hayes is their quarterback. Nathan Hayes is actually here at Mountain West Media Days representing the Bison this year. He's going to be your starter. He played in 10 games last year, backing up Cole Payton. They kind of used both of those quarterbacks, but Payton was the guy, and Nathan Hayes was complementing all of that. But now he's the starter. He's the legitimate threat at QB1 now. That's going to really showcase what he's all about. For really the first time in his career as far as commanding an offense. Wide receiver room lost 5 of their top 8 pass catchers. This is where I'm interested to see where things go with their wide receiver room, because they always have an explosive quarterback on the ground. They got themselves a legitimate bell cow back on the ground. And then they have a guy in at wide receiver 1 that will always pop off with their long ball. And last year, the guy for them was Bryce Lance. That's right, Trey Lance's little brother. Bryce Lance ended up getting drafted in the 4th round in the NFL draft. He ended up getting selected by the New Orleans Saints, which I think was a great pick. So there's no Bryce Lance. There is no Bryce Lance anymore with this team. So that's another, I guess, question that everyone's going to be answering. Who's going to be coming back in this wide receiver room? And honestly, we're going to figure that out. We're going to ask when we talk to the North Dakota State guys. We're going to ask them about it. So very intrigued to see how all that goes for this team at the wide receiver spot, of course, because they lose Bryce Lance, who was really, really good for them last year, over 1,000 yards receiving for NDSU. Some notable returners that I chalk down for them that on the offensive side of the ball that are significant and that Mountain West fans need to be well aware of. That is DJ Scott, running back 1 last year. Or he's going to be RB1. He was RB2 last year. He had 500-plus rushing yards, along with 6 touchdowns on the ground as a backup running back. So that's what I'm telling you. Explosivity for this team. When your backup running back is having over 500 yards, that tells you all you need to know about what this team is trying to do. Miles Mitchell will back him up. He had 78 yards and a touchdown on the ground, but I expect him to have a big role. Tight end Reese Kessel. He's a blocking tight end, but he's going to be serving on the receiving end quite a bit for this team. Reese Kessel could be one of these underrated Mountain West players that maybe not a lot of people don't know about. I'm going to for sure ask NDSU offensive players when they come to the booth or the table rather about Reese Kessel, because I think he's a guy that jumped off the page to me. Offensive lineman Ryan Babbitt, and of course Griffin Empey, FCS All-American a year ago, going to be in the running to be a high pick in the NFL draft. Griffin Empey, right tackle for North Dakota State. As far as their defense is concerned, let's talk about it. Grant Olson is their defensive coordinator. He's entering year 3 in this role up in Fargo, North Dakota. It's a deep defensive line room. They've rotated several guys. They're going to be promoting a lot of guys. Some notable returners. Elijah Wayne on the defensive line was an underclassman that ended up having a respectable year last year. A lot of people think he's going to be a breakout player for them. Donovan Wilson was their number 1 tackler last year. He had 70-plus total tackles. He's basically going to be the center fielder of that defense. That's going to be, doing a lot of. He's going to be doing a lot of things. Representing Coach Olson's defense. The linebacker room, takes a little bit of a hit with some guys like Nathaniel Steeling. He went to Michigan. They also lost Logan Kopp due to graduation, but this secondary is going to be legit, and we're going to be talking to a guy that's going to be really good in the back end for this team, in Darius Givens. This was a team in the secondary that ended up getting rated in the portal quite a bit at corner and safety. But Givens is one of the few guys that comes back and really is going to be a part of this transition from the Missouri Valley to the Mountain West for NDSU. So Givens, I'm interested to see how he produces at a subdivision higher, of course. And not only that, kudos to this guy, because he was there during the Matt Entz era and has stuck through since the Polasek era. So that is obviously noteworthy. Now he's a senior that is going to be getting a lot of run on the back end for North Dakota State. But I think I saw they're projected over under win totals 8.5, 9.5 range. There's a lot of praise for this team. I don't really know if they're going to win 10 games on that schedule. My guess is they probably go 6-0 at home, and they probably get 2 wins on the road. Maybe no, they're gonna be probably an 8-win team to me. 8-9 wins, maybe something along those lines. Because that transition is gonna be. I think they're gonna obviously win some games, but man, they're gonna have to go play in some tough places to get some really good coaches as well. And it's one thing if you go play a good team and it's a really good team for 1 week, and it's kind of you're just kind of putting all your eggs in the basket for that one game because it's essentially your Super Bowl. That's what they were doing at the FCS level with a lot of those FBS games. But the fact that they're going to have to deal with these guys like Troy Calhoun and Jason Eck in a period where they're going to just be dealing with elite coaching every single week, essentially. And it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out, for that group for NDSU. So as we await some more players that are going to be coming around, is what we're going to do is, take a pause on our coverage here. I'm going to go roam around and chat it up with some people, get some update on some things on my end, and take a few minute break. And when we come back, we'll have more coverage here from Mountain West Football Media Days, straight from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Well, I was going to say,
Welcome back to day one of Mountain West Media Days. Nick Urias coming to you live from Palms Casino and Resort. Good to be with everybody with live coverage out here from Vegas. Day one featuring the student athletes of all 10 Mountain West institutions. And we will have head coaches tomorrow throughout the day in the early stages of the morning. Thanks to everybody tuning in on youtube.com/@thesportsentiment. Or if you're on, just on the Twitter feed, appreciate you, for tuning in. We're going to have Northern Illinois coming up here in a few short minutes. We're going to probably talk to all the players that they brought out here, which will be good. They're one of the newcomers, so we obviously want to get to know about this program quite a bit. They come over from the Mid-American Conference and are going to try to, get things underway here, hit the ground running. It's going to be very interesting to see how that transpires. And how we doing?
How you doing? Liam.
Nick, nice to meet you. Right here. As we got Liam from NIU. Right on. Right on. Absolutely. Thank you. We got Liam Lindo. Thanks for joining, man.
Thanks for having me.
How's the experience been thus far?
It's a blessing for sure. It's a blessing. What Mountain West has done for us so far, it's been great. They've, we're new to the conference, but I can see that they've welcomed us with open arms.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the move. Mid-American Conference.
For sure.
The first thing that jumps out to me, you get the Maction games on.
No more Maction.
No more Maction.
For
Tuesday,
sure.
Wednesday nights.
Yep.
How was that? That schedule had to be absolutely wild.
Yeah, it's rough for the guys, going to class Monday or not going to class Monday and then missing Monday and Tuesday due to a nighttime game that you have to play is kind of tough. And then getting back for Wednesday, the late night travels back and what comes from those games were definitely difficult for some of the guys. And I know they're happy to be done with them and play on Saturdays.
Yeah. Did you ever like that or no?
Personally, I just got to NIU in January, so
Okay, yeah.
I didn't play any Maction games, but I definitely know the guys are happy for sure.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because we were talking to UTEP, who was kind of in a very similar situation,
Right.
And their guys did not like it. So everyone's got their own experience with it. Sure, you get the weekends off, but man, there's just something about playing college football on Saturdays.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's talk about your roster this year, because NIU last year was a 3-win football team. This conference change is hopefully going to lead to some new opportunities.
Absolutely.
In a positive direction. Talk to me about this defense, because past NIU teams, I know you weren't a part of them,
Right.
but they've always been feisty. They've always
sure.
kind of ugly up the game.
For sure.
We'll keep everything in front of them and really try to win the game on defense. How is this defense materializing thus far? You guys got tons of changes to the coaching staff.
For sure.
Kind of a little bit of a late setback for you guys. So how has that whole adjustment been in that regard?
The adjustment has been great. We have a lot of young guys on the defense coming in, whether they're transfers, freshmen, or even just guys who are stepping up from last year into a bigger role this year. It's been great, honestly.
Okay, so we did some deep sea diving on your defense. Talk to me about the man Jack Murray.
Jack Murray
at the linebacker position.
He's a stud. He came in early enrollee for spring ball, and he stepped up for sure. He stepped up. He filled some shoes. We had Buck Erweiler last year, led the nation in tackles. So he stepped up. He filled those shoes, and we're excited for what Jack's going to do for our defense.
It's true. Was he actually wearing the green dot during all the spring practices?
He
really
was
commanding this defense as a true freshman. Should add
true freshman, early enrollee. He was wearing the green dot. He got the communications from the coaching staff, and he got that to the defense and took care of business.
So let's talk about you for a minute, because you're a DB. You're going to be all over a lot of these talented wide receivers.
Yes, sir.
That the Mountain West has to offer. Talk to me about, I guess just some goals and what you're looking forward to, here in 2026, to make the most out of your college career.
So this is my last year of eligibility. So I look at this as a 12-week tryout. 12-week tryout meaning doing what I want to do to get to the next level. And I'm fully capable of doing that. And I know I trust myself, I trust my coaches, and I trust my abilities to get me to where I want to be. Most importantly, I trust and I put my faith in the Lord.
Absolutely. I'm just very interested on your team this year, because you're going to be hitting the road. You're going to be in a very similar spot like Hawaii, right? Like You're just going to naturally have longer travel schedules, because you're going to be on the plane for longer. Do you kind of just embrace something like that? You kind of just make the most of it? I mean, you guys got 7 road games this year. I don't know many teams that have 7 road games.
We're excited. We thrive on the road. We're ready to thrive on the road and step into anybody's home and really take care of business on that regards. But we're excited for the challenge that also comes with, switching time zones very quickly, whether it's 2 weeks on the road, 1 week at home, or 2 weeks at home and 1 week on the road. Just transitioning we're excited for the transition and what it's going to bring.
As far as NIU is concerned, I know it's not on your side of the ball, but you guys made quite the splash at the quarterback spot very late. Talk to me about this quarterback room, because you're a guy that goes up against these guys every day at practice. I know you guys got an active quarterback competition right now with 2 guys, with Macon and Davidson, that were on the team last year. But the addition with Mr. Dickens from Western Carolina,
for sure.
How has his progress been? Because he was just such a late addition, and what have you seen from him when you've gone up against him?
We're excited for what Tehran's going to bring to the room. We're excited for the competition we're going to see here in the near future in fall camp. It's going to be a great competition between the 3, and honestly, the best one's going to play. That's how it's going to be, and that's what Coach Harley has told the team and told the QBs and the receivers and everybody on the whole team. Like, the best man's going to play, and that's what I truly believe.
What sold you on NIU? You imagine you had your options were open in the portal.
For sure.
I guess what ultimately led you to Northern Illinois University here?
So I knew about NIU. I had two friends, I could say, in Jalen Macon and Kenji Lewis. They also went to Pine Bluff previously. They were there before me, but I had met them. So I had some ties there, and my teammate from Bryant University transferred into Bryant from NIU. Okay. So I was familiar, but also the coaching staff. They came, they got me, they showed that they wanted me, and this is where I fell in love with, and it's home for me.
So I mentioned Jack Murray, but who's a guy on the defense that Mountain West fans don't know about yet, but will know by the end of the year?
For sure. We definitely got guys all across the board. Amari Washington, he's a freshman D lineman, or he's going into his sophomore year. He's a D lineman. We're excited for what Amari is going to bring to the team. Another guy, Yassine Falk, the media has been big on him. He had a great spring. He's a corner in the cornerback room with myself. But we have corners that could play. Marshall Washington, Yassine, Romello Walker, who's a returner but hasn't seen much playing time. Romello's good. Romello is real good. He's going to step up into a big role this season, and we're excited for that.
I know you guys are on full focus on week 1 at Iowa, but how much? What do you know about San Jose State? We're from the Bay Area. We do coverage for the Spartans, along with the entirety of the Mountain West. But I guess what do you know about San Jose State, and I guess just that program?
I know a little bit about San Jose State. I follow college football pretty well. I know you guys like to throw the ball, and I'm excited for that. You guys like to spread it out and air raid. And I'm excited to go against one of those offenses. You guys have had success in receivers, whether they've transferred or gone on and play in the NFL. So I've been paying attention to that, and I'm aware of that. That game's definitely circled on my schedule.
Right on, man. Well, hey, best of luck this year. We'll most certainly be monitoring your progress with the first year in the league, and stay healthy, and best of luck in 2026.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There you have it. Good stuff.
So Landon should be wrapping over here. Yards going there, and I'll see Landon over here. Good, thanks.
We're gonna have Northern Illinois' Landon Huron coming up, offensive lineman for NIU. We got the NIU guys that are coming in and out right now. Trying to think who else. I think we're gonna have North Dakota State a little bit later. We're also gonna have Wyoming. Ethan Solstats weren't running in here as well, so we're gonna just kind of get a mixture. We're gonna just hit all these guys all at once here. So thanks to Liam Lindo for coming on for NIU, cornerback for the Huskies this year, transfer in from the Bryant Bulldogs. Going to try to make a statement with NIU's first year in the Mountain West. NIU's defense was really good last year. I know they were only 3-9, but this was a team that was rock solid. I'm gonna have you move over here, man. How's it going? Nick, nice to meet you. All right, so we're gonna pivot over to the Wyoming Cowboys. We got Ethan Solstats with us right now. Linebacker for the Wyoming Cowboys. Good to be here with you, man. 2026 for the Wyoming Cowboys. Very intriguing, if you ask me. You guys always have yourself a stingy and feisty defense. I kind of expect more of that, but what's the big thing here for you in 2026? I expect more of a bigger role for you.
For me personally, just go out there, give it my all every play, and be a guy that my teammates can depend on. And just in terms of the whole team, our expectations are to go out there every week, go 1-0, and play complementary football on all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams.
Absolutely. How we do coverage out in San Jose. How crazy was that San Jose State game last year?
Oh, it was nuts. Definitely a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. I was saying that is like a typical Laradice experience. Just that whole game, how it transpired. Scudero has like 4 touchdowns in the first half, and then you guys obviously erased the deficit and come back. What is it like just playing, at War Memorial when you could kind of see the game flip in the second half in your favor?
Oh, it's honestly a great feeling. Every game day experience is just so surreal to me. Ever since I've been out there, all the parking lots for RVs just fill up. Win or lose, we always have a loyal fan base, and our fans are awesome. They always support us. And when you see stuff like that happen in a game, you can hear it with the roar of the crowd.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this defense a little bit, because I look at a guy like Braden Johnson. He doesn't come back. You guys are going to be shuffling some guys in the secondary along on the D line. Who should we just expect out there? I know you're going to be a big part of it, but who are some guys that really, have stood out here during the offseason and in this team's growth for 2026?
It's hard to tell, and that's honestly a good thing because everyone's grown so much, and that's growth between the DBs, the trenches, and then even just the linebackers has been very, very, very optimistic throughout this offseason. Guys putting in the work every day. Everyone's bringing that competitive edge, and a lot of guys have grown up and matured.
Just talk to me about playing in Wyoming. I know you're kind of just Midwest guy generally. So I feel like the fit has been, you fit right in, kind of into, that style of play. Just talk to me about that town, man, because it's a community out there.
Yeah, what makes the University of Wyoming so great as well is that it's the only 4-year university in the state. So when we have our games, you have all 4 corners of the state come into one area for the weekend. And that is such a great feeling to know that you have a fan base that has your back. And then obviously just the atmosphere in terms of the weather. You never know. It's very bipolar. could be very windy, could be hot. We had the hail sleet game last year out of nowhere. So yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, I certainly have that place circled. Couldn't make it out last year, so hopefully we can make it out there in the near future. Best of luck, man. Stay healthy, and we'll be definitely monitoring your success all year long.
All right, yeah, and thanks for having me on, man. Really
Appreciate
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you have it, Wyoming linebacker Ethan Solsatz. Appreciate his time just to talk Pokes football for a few short minutes. Got Northern Illinois still floating around themselves. And we're going to see who else we have on tap as well. I think NIU ended up doing another interview. That Wyoming interview was very spontaneous, which that's the way things go around here, which that's totally fine. Good stuff with the Pokes, man. There's such a I'm gonna see if we can get Mr. Hughes, their quarterback, on the mic here, because he is to me, he's going to be essential to what they do. Not only because he's the quarterback, but they got themselves the offensive coordinator tandem with Christian Taylor coming over from William and Mary, and I just think it could be very boomer bust material, for Wyoming. Looks like we're going to be getting some NIU guys coming over here to the table right now. So shifting gears to Northern Illinois, 3-9 overall, 2-6 in the MAC. All good. Looks like NIU is trying to get all their ducks in a row. That's totally fine. Here we go. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Nick, nice to meet you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mike is
Yeah.
right on. Jay Sean Thomas, defensive end for NIU. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yes, sir.
How's the day? How's the day been? I know we're starting to get towards the back end. I've been flapping your gums all day, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's fun, right? Just gets a little tired at the end.
I hear you. I mean, look,
We're pretty long day. Yeah.
We're 2 hours in post lunch, and we did 3 hours in the morning. So I hear you, man.
It's crazy.
Look, let's talk some NIU football, because, man, I'm very intrigued for you guys this year. New conference, which leads to new opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
It's very intriguing because you guys play 7 road games this year.
Yeah.
There's not many teams playing 7 road games. The travel is going to be very interesting. You guys are in a very similar spot like Hawaii now, where you're just going to naturally have, you're going to just be on the plane even longer. Do you guys embrace stuff like that? Does it bring the team closer together, or do you just kind of cancel all that out when it's all said and done?
So, yeah, it brings the team together. Like, we're all about the hard way as is, right? So it doesn't really affect us that much. But yeah, that the biggest thing is like the time zone differences.
Yeah.
That might throw your body off a little bit. You might be tired or something, but it's not going to affect play style.
Sure. You had 3 starts last year, 21 total tackles, I believe.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what's the next gear to your game this year. I know you're going to be a big part of what they do on the D line. And you're going to go out there and try to blow up the line of scrimmage on every play. So talk to me about what's been the growth within your game. What are you trying to bring here for an NIU defense that historically has been very stingy?
Yeah, so my biggest thing is just like consistency.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where I struggled the most last year. Hips, hands, eyes, reading my keys, really trusting my technique. And then being able to convert on pass, right? We're going to play a lot of heavy airing the ball out teams this year.
Yep.
And then like the complete flip side of, Air Force, like they're running the ball almost every play. Like,
exactly.
So, yeah, it's just consistency for real.
Yeah, the contrast in styles in the
Mhm.
Mountain West it's amazing because you're gonna get you're gonna get the teams that are gonna pound the rock probably like you guys,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna get a team like San Jose, in November that's gonna throw the ball 50 times a game.
Yep.
So it's amazing the contrast in styles. Talk to me about this D line because I look about what comes in, what comes out. I see a bunch of D2 guys, some
Mhm.
FCS guys,
Uh-huh.
a lot of guys that are going to be taking a step at another level and are just going to kind of get their feet wet starting week 1 at Iowa. Who are some guys we should be well aware of at that position specifically, and what are you excited about that unit?
So yeah, off rip, like my guy Cole Sneed, Matthew, Joe, JB, James Bradley, Amari Washington, yeah, Terrell. These are all guys that really are hungry and excited to be out there on that field because like some of these guys they've been here for 2 years, they just haven't really played that much.
Yeah.
But this is their like first opportunity to really see the field, see play time. And I'm really excited about what we're gonna do and should shock the world.
All right, you could be honest with me. How glad are you to not be playing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays? Did it affect you that much? Because
so like it play style, it really didn't affect that much,
Sure.
It's just you don't really have the crowd in the fan, It's not so much of the support behind you, but it is what it is. This is my 3rd year, so I kind of got used to it. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So we did some diving on NIU, obviously, just on the roster. Tons of praise for this kid at linebacker, Jack Murray, true freshman linebacker. He's been wearing the green dot for you during the spring.
Jack Murray's a dog.
Yeah,
Jack Murray's a dog.
I was gonna say we interviewed your teammate Liam,
Yeah.
and he said the exact same thing. What has it been so impressive for a guy that's really just a true freshman and really getting his first taste at the collegiate level, and he's already impressing?
So first thing that got me was like the weight room. Kid's insane in the weight room, lifts crazy numbers, you know what I mean? And then you get on the field and like he's also one of those guys that you just kind of gravitate towards. Like he's a natural leader. He knows what he's talking about. He's really football smart, pretty savvy. And he gets after it for sure.
Offense, quarterback still trying to be. That's going to all materialize here, I imagine, pretty soon. Yeah. You guys got 2 returners in Davidson and Macon, but your staff ends up going to add Teron Dickens from Western Carolina. What has that addition been like? How has the learning curve been for him? Because you've been going up against him against practice every day, and him being such a late arrival.
So
what's his progress at?
With that, we haven't seen him yet.
Okay.
I think he gets to campus either Monday or Tuesday, something like that.
Got you.
So, we'll see how that goes. But like any addition to the team, I'm excited to have, right?
Absolutely.
Like we're bettering the art guys, so I can't. Yeah.
How has the battle been between Macon and Davidson? Thus far. Then
we embrace competition. The guys are working every day, and I love to see it. If we didn't have that type of battle, I don't think we'd be as good as we are.
Absolutely.
Or can be.
Fair enough. We've talked about the Mountain West, but what about teams coming to you guys? How about the fact that Hawaii has to come to you?
Yeah.
I have that game circled, not only because of the styles and the contrasted styles between those 2 teams, but the fact that is that's a gnarly just travel situation for Hawaii, but just overall, like this is a big opportunity for the NIU athletics and the brand. What are you excited to really represent when you put on that uniform here in the Mountain West?
It's the hard way. We gonna show them what action feel like. They come. They used to 70-degree weather in October. It's gonna be 30s, 20s, maybe raining. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's gonna be a fun game for sure. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, Jay Sean Thomas, defensive end.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the time, man.
Thank you.
We'll be definitely monitoring the success of 2026. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the time. You too. Appreciate Jay Sean Thomas for Northern Illinois. Great insight on his end. We keep saying this Jack Murray guy at linebacker, there's just been nothing but high praise. I mean, we're going to talk to Rob Harley tomorrow. I'm really interested to just see what ultimately led to him being essentially the leader of their defense as a true freshman. Would love to hear what the coach has to say about something like that. But the fact that he's got the trust of the players and his teammates already is something. So quarterback competition between NIU, was that Brady Davidson and Jalen Macon. Both were on the team last year. Both were back it up. Holst at quarterback, he transferred out. And now they get this quarterback battle. That will be pretty interesting to see how it ultimately develops. Mr. Dickens for NIU has interestingly not entered campus. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I mean, the fact that we're literally a month and a half away from the season, that is obviously pretty noteworthy. We already knew he's going to be a late arrival, but the fact that, the announcement in the portal came 2 weeks ago, interesting to say the least. So that is that we're going to certainly take away when we get out of here. And I think that's just something to bookmark on the Northern Illinois side all year long. Just from that standpoint, that if the quarterback room does not materialize and go to par, you could see a guy like that. But man, that learning curve and not even being in the program and stuff like that, it's certainly something. The fact that he hasn't even walked into the building yet, and that's something to monitor, to say. NIU's defense, I think it's going to be kind of it's kind of a mystery. It really is. Like, Jack Murray might be good. He might put up some numbers. He's going to probably have like 1 million tackles for this team. But man, that's why I knew we needed to ask Jay Sean about that D line, because they got like 3 Division II guys from literally Virginia State and Mississippi Valley and Lincoln. This is just kind of outside the ordinary. How they're taking a different approach and how they went into the portal. They got experienced guys, but experienced guys at a division lower. How does that ultimately come together for the NIU Huskies? I'm intrigued. Offensively, I mean, we're going to talk to their offensive guys here in a minute with Landon Huron and with Telly Johnson, their running back. So I'm amped up to see what that looks like for the Huskies. But yeah, NIU last year, just to put a bow on the Huskies, rattling off some numbers here. This was not a good offense last year. They got to get better. 127th in scoring, 132nd in passing, 29th in rushing, 130th in total offense. As far as their defense is concerned, 64th in scoring defense, 12th against the pass, 112th against the rush, and 56th in total defense. So, their defense, like we said, their defense was the reason why they won games last year. Not that they won that many, but they were 3-9. And their offense was just so broken. I remember San Diego State went there last year and they won 9-0. It was ridiculous. Shout out to JY from the Big Mountain Podcast. He's right next to us. Great meeting him a little bit earlier. Does great Mountain West football coverage. he really gets into the weeds of like all of the distribution stuff and all the money behind the conference, which is it's important. But man, you got to really go into the weeds and stuff. It's certainly something. Yeah. So NIU's defense was good, but they're replacing guys, and guys hit the portal. So I'm inclined to see what they do here. The non-conference is so brutal that I don't really know what version of this team. Like, I don't really know what I'm getting from NIU, like as a team, and what they're going to look like maybe until week 4. As crazy as that sounds, sure, I might understand some stuff from the Illinois State game, but Illinois State might be pretty rock solid here.
Wyoming is good one, yes. I wanted to watch because I missed talking.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Where was I? Trying to juggle so many things at once here. Talking about NIU. You're talking about NIU and that defense, and all the guys that they're replacing and how they're just fascinating in that department. Offensively, they're gonna run the ball. And we rattled out the numbers. Their wide receiver room, I'm very interested. People think they're gonna just run the ball. I think their wide receiver room might be a tad bit underrated. I really do. Sure, they got Telly Johnson. He had 714 rushing yards last year. But man, D'Ari Rogers was productive. He was productive. Entered the portal, then withdrew, led the team in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Had 506 receiving yards. Yeah, that was your wide receiver one. Northern Illinois' passing offense was no bueno in 2025. They got Cam Thomas in the pipeline as well. George Demopoulos is going to complement those guys as well. Had 11 receptions. Everything from what I'm hearing is that Mr. Demopoulos is going to have a much more expanded role and get plenty more targets in that wide receiver room. And IU's always had themselves a respectable offensive line. We're going to talk to Landon Huron, I imagine, here pretty quick. I know they're running around and scampering and doing stuff on their end themselves, and we're gonna go from there with that once when we get to the remainder of NIU's roster. We're gonna see if we can get Tyler Hughes with Wyoming as well, just to talk about the makeup of Wyoming's new offense this year for 2026, and overall just what they have from a pass catching standpoint this year as well, because I don't really know what that's really going to look like. I mean, they're just promoting guys from within. They lose John Michael Gillenborg to the NFL. Chris Durr goes to Maryland. It was just kind of it was a broken offense to begin with. Wyoming was last year, especially on the road. Obviously quarterback play kind of set it all back. But when you lose, like the passing offense was no good last year, but then you lose all the guys that actually produced from it. I have my questions. I really do. Who steps up? That's why I want to ultimately talk to some of these Wyoming offensive guys, because I want to know who's producing in that room. Running backs are always solid. We know that. Wyoming, one thing you can rely on: productive Wyoming running backs and a damn good defense. And that's been the case for a long while now. But even when Craig Bull was there, it would just be it would be a dreadful offense, and I just think if this team can pop and score some points and be a little bit more consistent on the road, like, and even if like the numbers don't drastically jump up, if they just improve just a little bit, I feel like we could have some big time improvements from Wyoming. I mean, legitimately, they could go from a 5-win team to potentially 7-8 wins and be the ultimate wild card here in the Mountain West. So that's how I feel about the Pokes right then and there. Yes, that's a team that I'm most certainly circling right in that middle of the pack, because they could be in the middle of the pack, and they could kind of climb to like the tier 2 status, which is kind of where I would have maybe Air Force and North Dakota State, even though I'm really high on Air Force this year. Yeah, because I feel like if we want to go through the tiers of the Mountain West, tier 1 is going to be New Mexico and UNLV. UNLV was spectacular. Their schedule is the non-conference schedule, very interesting, but it's one of those things, like they're gonna have playmakers all over. New Mexico, I mean, we talked to their guys, returning production's off the charts, and I mean, anyone that listened to that interview this in the late morning, they got their standards straight, and I was very impressed with their players. Then you get to like the tier 2, where you get this North Dakota State team that's done a lot of winning, and they're jumping up to a division, and you get to this Air Force team that has always kind of been tier 2 in the Mountain West for a long time, but they can never just get over the mountaintop, and that being a Mountain West championship. And then you kind of get to this tier 3 status. That's where I would probably throw a team like Hawaii. If this Wyoming offense pops, I would throw Wyoming in there. I think San Jose State is kind of right in that middle of the pack, tier 3, if you will, as well. Just because San Jose is going to put up points as long as they don't turn over the football. And then you kind of just get like the rest of the pack. And you kind of throw in UTEP and NIU, and Nevada is another team in the middle where they're going to be very high variance based on what they do in one-score games and what the quarterback play looks like. So, man, there's a lot to be excited about, because the middle of the pack in the Mountain West could really cause some chaos, could really score some upsets, can cause some chaos. And one of those teams between Nevada, Hawaii, San Jose, Wyoming, and Hawaii somebody's going to surprise. And that could be in a good or a bad way. Hawaii might come down to earth a little bit. Wyoming and San Jose could really pop. And maybe they win 7 games, which would be what I would consider for Wyoming and San Jose State probably overachieving from a given the preseason expectations. So that's how I feel about that. There's obviously tiers to this thing, and I just think we're in for a wild 2026 in that area, just because this can result into some chaos, and maybe there's just sure there's your favorites, but we saw last year that a lot of these teams are vulnerable. A lot of the conference kind of cannibalizing each other. I mean, the two wins that San Jose got last year were against New Mexico and Hawaii in Mountain West play, and look how good those teams were, right? So it's gonna be very interesting. I think when you catch these teams, like I always say, when you catch a team will always matter. And who has the favorable spot and situation. And yes, like X's and O's and that stuff matters. But I'm telling you, like the travel is real. college home field matters so much. College, just home court, home environments, they matter so much. And it's just sometimes you just get two different versions of teams. Um, when you kind of put it all together. So we'll see how that all materializes when it's all said and done here for the 2026 football season. Let's see how we're doing here. I'm gonna try to get. We're gonna try to get Tyler Hughes for Wyoming, and then we might be pretty close. To closing up shop and calling it. Because let's see where we're at. We did not. The North Dakota State guys vanished on us, which is okay. But we got San Jose State, UNLV players. We got all of UTEP's players. Wyoming, we got their linebacker, Ethan Solsatz. NIU, we got half their players, which I'm cool with. We got New Mexico's, blue chip guys at quarterback and linebacker. We talked to Nevada's guys, offense, defense. We got our guys from Hawaii, along with Air Force as well. Yes, the one guy we had circled was Wyoming's Tyler Hughes. If we could get Tyler Hughes, he's right here in the booth to us. Let's see if we can get him. Can I get Tyler?
Yeah. Tyler, hop on with him really quick, and then we're done.
How's it going, man? Nice to meet you. Mike's hot whenever we're ready. We're live. Tyler Hughes for Wyoming. How we doing, man? How's the Mountain West Media Day experience treating you?
It's been great. It's a lot of ripping and running.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. It's been a good time. We're out in Vegas. We're, hanging with some of the buddies and even meeting some players from other teams. It's been cool.
Yeah. A lot of on the fly stuff. So you're just listening to the boss man over here. Go here, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, let's talk about you for a minute. Just your transition here to Wyoming. You come over from William and Mary at the FCS level, and 4-year guy over there, and now you're making the jump up to the FBS level. Just your level of excitement, to be in Laradice for 2026.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's most definitely a blessing. I'm super thankful for the opportunity, and shout out Coach Savell for taking a chance on me, and very appreciative of Coach Taylor, and I'm very excited to lead the team come this fall.
Let's talk about Coach Christian Taylor, because obviously you got your guys. It's a notable connection that you guys had. Was on the Buffalo Bills staff last year, but a few years back he was with you at William and Mary. What was that relationship back when you were kind of a youngster, still kind of trying to find a footing within your career, and why ultimately reunite?
Well, Coach Taylor was a tremendous coach. I mean, when I first got into college, I was seeing this guy every day, late night, putting the crazy amount of work in, listening to random music. He's always the last person in there. And I'm like, wow, man, this is how it's supposed to be. But then he leaves, and you kind of be able to compare and contrast what it is, and it's not always the same. And then you get an opportunity to play for him again. It's like, all right, yeah, let's do this.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was a younger guy. We had a guy who was in front of me, Darius Wilson. He was an older guy, and he helped us. He led us to a championship. But I was a guy who was prepared like a starter. I was a guy who always took every rep in practice seriously, and I think he really appreciated that. And me and him always had a great relationship. And for him to move on, and I had a great season, and to hear that call from him, it was just a no-brainer to come play for him again.
Absolutely, man. Some of the stuff. There's so many teams to keep an eye on. There's so many moving parts every offseason. But man, I some of the stuff that William and Mary, when you guys were running, back when Taylor was in charge, man, I mean, it was just such a creative offense. When I'd go back and look up all the highlights, it's just a creative offensive mind. Are we going to see some of that creativity in Laramie in 2026? Because this offense needs a pop, man.
Yeah, that's just Coach Taylor as a person. He's super creative. He's very innovative. We utilize all like the best players that we have on our team. We put them in the right spots, and we just get our best players out in space. And I think that's just the the basis of football. I mean, you put your best players out, you put them in the best position to succeed, and he does a really good job of doing that.
Let's talk about some of the guys that are going to be, I guess, commanding things for Wyoming. Obviously, you're going to be a big part of that. But the pass catchers are, maybe a lot of new guys here. A lot of guys that were on the team last year, but are going to be stepping up. Who's really caught your eye on the offensive side of the ball? Obviously, up front, you guys are going to be spectacular. But from a pass catching standpoint, who do we need to keep an eye on?
I think like the biggest thing about it is that like we have a lot of guys who played in games and who are now stepping up. I mean, maybe not have gotten the most catches, but these guys work super duper hard. I mean, they're a very cohesive unit. Like they're guys who wants to work on their game all the time, and I think that's half the battle. And I think, like honestly, like as a whole, I mean, not even like shouting out names, I think like that entire room could really help us this fall. And I'm very excited for them. And we had a great spring. We're having a tremendous summer working together, doing player-led things, and I'm excited for fall camp and to build onto the season.
You go up against that defense. Wyoming always has feisty defenses. It doesn't really matter what year it is. What stands out about this defense? Because you guys got Ethan coming back at linebacker. I mean, he's going to be a workhorse and an animal. But beyond him, we should expect a lot of guys to be making plays. What's it like going up against that defense, man?
That defense is fierce for sure. It's funny, like when I came up here, you always hear about, our defense is really good. And then spring ball starts. It's like, oh, yeah. These guys can fly around. And, I mean, Coach Bull, he's a very good defensive coordinator. And pairing that up with Coach Savell, who's a tremendous coach, too. And I'm very excited for that defense. I know they were one of the top in the country last year, number 2 in the country in the red zone. And, they're going to build off of that stuff. And I'm very excited for them. They've worked really hard. And, yeah, I'm glad they're on my team.
Absolutely. Transition for you get to deal with a new conference in the Mountain West, new set of opponents. What do you know about this border war rivalry versus Colorado State? Not in the same league anymore, but that game means a lot to the people out there in Laramie. They're separated like square mileage, like they're very close, and that's a rivalry that goes way back. Week 1, you guys get them.
Oh yeah, it's super exciting. One of the first things that you learn when you become a Cowboy is that we need to handle business when we play the team down south, and it's great that we get to play them first because that's a very good tone setter to our season, and going out and keeping the boot is going to be huge, and I'm excited for that game, and it's going to be a good one.
So we cover San Jose State. I don't know if you were aware of the San Jose State Wyoming game last year, but San Jose came out firing, and then Wyoming scores 21 unanswered points ultimately to win the game. It's just kind of one of those games where the magic in Laramie. I don't know if you've seen that on TV from a bird's eye view before you got here. There's just something about that place, man, where the second half just flips, and then the momentum goes on the Cowboys side, and it's craziness happens.
Yeah, I mean, playing at War Memorial is tough, and like just being up there, I mean, the elevation is real. Right?
Yeah,
like going up there, I mean, my first day or my first week of like workout is like, oh my god, like this, it's real. And San Jose, I'm excited to play them this year. It's going to be fun, and the Mountain West is very competitive. You never know what you're going to get on a Friday or Saturday, whatever day that we play on, and it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking some time for us today.
Yes, sir.
I hope you're pretty much done. I'm ready to get out of here myself. So, best of luck in 2026, man. We'll be looking forward to SJSU in Wyoming and documenting your progress. All right.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man. You have a good one.
Absolutely. You too, man. There you have it. Wyoming quarterback. Tyler Hughes, senior quarterback, transfer from William and Mary. 4 years with the William and Mary tribe. Going to come in here for one last ride with the Wyoming Cowboys. They're going to run some creative stuff. I know that. I understand he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to reveal everything. I totally get that. But trust me, they're going to be innovative on offense. They're going to have some creativity that maybe Wyoming hasn't seen in some time. And I'm very excited to see what that looks like. Defense is going to be legit. I mean, you heard him say at number 2 red zone defense last year, like incredible. That schedule that was a little bit tricky. That non-conference, like they get that weird game at Central Michigan in Mount Pleasant. You got obviously the border war week 1, always notable, historic rivalry. There's some games on here that could very much be coin flips, and if they could win the coin flips, look out for that team. Obviously the altitude, they're going to pull one of those games like the San Jose State game last year. It's going to be incredible. I can already see it. They do it once or twice a year. We talked about, I was on the college experience with Colby Dant. Shout out to those guys. Do great work covering college football and basketball. But we did the San Jose State preview, and when we were, I was a guest for the San Jose State preview, and when we were talking about San Jose State versus Wyoming, and we were just kind of saying like that game was kind of last year is something that Wyoming does every year. Our guy Colby was at a game a few years back when App State came into town, and Wyoming has a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. They have like a pick six. I think that was the same year they beat Texas Tech as well, and they stormed the field. It's just it's wild to see how some of this stuff happens on that end for the Wyoming Cowboys. Laradice always something, man. So look, that's just gonna about do it for our coverage today. This place is dying down. I'm ready to call it, and that's gonna do it for us. Appreciate everybody for tuning in all day long on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@thesportsentiment. Appreciate everybody coming on the Twitter feed as well, popping in and out. Always appreciate everybody. And tomorrow, we're gonna be here bright and early. I think, what does this thing start? 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, something along those lines. As we'll have head coach interviews with all the head coaches tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a much more well-oiled machine. We're gonna have less people to deal with. So just the coaches. We're gonna talk to each Mountain West coach. We're gonna dive in on personnel. What went wrong a year ago? New landscape that the Mountain West has to offer with 3 new teams in the league. Talk about some games. Talk about some potential rising stars. There's a lot to unpack. Kenny Amantalolo for San Jose State will be pretty early. He's in the first block as far as coaches tomorrow. So if any of our San Jose State audience, 8:30 to 10 a.m. will be San Jose State, UNLV, and UTEP tomorrow. So set your alarms if you want to see the Coach Ken interview live. It'll be sometime during that 90-minute window. And we'll be sure to you could throw in your questions on the live chat if you like. And we'll most certainly be getting as much information as we possibly can on all these rosters before we officially kick this bad boy off in about a month and a half from now. But that'll just about do it for me out here at Mountain West Media Days. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in all day long. Long day for us. We're going to go chill out now and enjoy the town for a little bit before we do it all over again. First thing in the morning tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Day 1 of 2026 Mountain West Media Days officially in the books. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll send out posts on Twitter and all of that good stuff. You'll see the link scheduled, and that will be our official time for the YouTube crowd of when we will be going live. So keep an eye on all of that. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm Nick Urias. And of course, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on all the social media platforms for day 2 of Mountain West Football Media Days tomorrow, straight from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada.